Yeah, I think that's great.
Michael's waving goodbye. He's got to go.
Hey, Michael.
What a loser.
All right. So 2 minutes after, let's get rolling with Wisdom Wednesday. Who has a good take? Do they feel like I got a good take on what wisdom is?
That's a good question. I've got none.
I'd say it's probably experience with time, maybe.
Okay, yeah, that's a good run.
Yeah, I would say, yeah, it's lessons learned through time, like through experience.
Yeah. Who remembers knowledge is power?
Yeah.
Like most of us heard knowledge is power, right? So at some point there was a transition for application of knowledge is power. Everybody remember that? Like you can be knowledgeable, you can know everything under the sun, but if you don't do anything with it, there's no power in that, right? So as you know, the internet came online, we have almost infinite knowledge at our fingertips, right? We got supercomputers in our pockets. So knowledge no longer differentiates us from anybody else, right? If you have the initiative to go find something, you can be as knowledgeable as the next guy pretty quick. Like even somebody that's been in the business for, years or decades, you could research something, binge, and be pretty knowledgeable. You might not know how to apply that, but you have knowledge, right? So I think we're past the knowledge is power and the application knowledge is power to sorry guys, wisdom, right? Wisdom is, so I like this definition here. The primary difference between the two words knowledge and power is that wisdom involves a healthy dose of perspective and the ability to make sound judgments about a subject, while knowledge is simply knowing. Okay, so I think that's worth repeating. The primary difference between the two words is that wisdom involves a healthy dose of perspective and ability to make sound judgments about a subject, while knowledge is simply knowing. So as it relates to our industry and helping our clients, we meet them, out in a home and we're looking through it. We can be super knowledgeable about the materials, the craftsmanship, the quality, know what to look for. But if we don't know how to help them have perspective and make sound judgments in purchasing the home, we're just like every other agent, is my takeaway. So I found one that I think is kind of funny, but it'll help kind of, I think, cement it a little bit. Knowledge is knowing that a tomato is a fruit. Wisdom is knowing not to put it in a fruit salad. Right? So anyway, I thought that one was kind of funny. The other thing I came across that I think is super helpful is wisdom is made up of knowledge, experience, and understanding. So a little more succinct. Wisdom is what allows a person to make decisions, to offer advice, and to achieve the best possible outcome in a given situation. It's a deep understanding of how things work. So that paragraph, couple sentences, I didn't find that specifically as it relates to real estate, but I think it very specifically relates to us helping our clients in real estate, right? How are we going to make this decision, especially now, buying, interest rates, where the market's at, what sellers will and won't do, how to offer advice, be that trusted consultant. We're not just a door opener. We don't just have our super e-key and open the door and let them go walk around, right? We're not offering any value to them. we're also offering just a little bit of value, being knowledgeable about who this builder is, who that builder is, why you would pick one over the other. That's still knowledge. But, I think we have to set ourselves heads and shoulders above the other agents in applying wisdom to the person.
Yeah, I think, I mean, again, it's knowledge with experience, but then with good judgment. And that's what you're talking
Perspective
about.
and judgment.
Yeah, when you get to the E key and you open the door, you don't just turn them loose. You go in and you're using your good judgment to visit with them.
Yeah, and again, back to yesterday, we talked about listening to what they want and need, because you can't help them, you can't understand their perspective or help them make a judgment if you don't understand their objectives and where they're coming from. So it's that servant mentality, that listening ability, right? The sales 101, we've got 2 ears and 1 mouth, right? Listen twice as much as we talk. But when we talk, we're talking from an informed position. We're using the knowledge of the real estate market, the knowledge of our objectives of our clients, and we're giving them, very powerful advice. And if you're wondering, why, I get ghosted, why the client went away or whatever, I would recommend that we look at it from the perspective of, if they see a tremendous amount of value in us and wisdom and a selfless or a serving heart, I doubt they'll ghost you, right? Unless they just get really discouraged, high anxiety or whatever. But do everything you can do to make them to always want to reach out to you. Right? Again, if you just showed up, open the door, like anybody can do that. The whole know, like, and trust, you got to have that very quickly. But if you don't do all those things, I don't see the trust can be there yet. Does that make sense? So
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can I just say something?
yeah.
I had someone else in real estate who had been in real estate for quite a few more years than I have. And they said to me, I was in a situation where a first-time home buyer they found some structural issues and I had to cancel the contract. And I had a couple of people say to me, well, are they okay with it? Because that's all that matters. What did they say? They're not paying you for your opinion. They told me that my opinion didn't matter. It was all up to the buyers and what they think. And I wholeheartedly disagreed with them, because I think that's exactly what they're paying me for. That's exactly because you're using your wisdom to form a professional opinion on the situation. And when your main objective is to just close and that's it, you don't care how it affects them. You don't care that you're having a first-time home buyer buy a house with structural issues and you know that they're going to end up putting thousands of dollars into it later. I just think, like, yes, your wisdom is 100% what they are paying you for. And at the end of the day, the people who are only closing deals to close deals and not putting their wisdom into it, they're not going to retain those clients. They're going to know that at the end of the day, all they cared about was closing the deal and they didn't actually care about the well-being of the client. And so, yeah, I don't know. It really rubbed me the wrong way that they would believe that your opinion doesn't matter. It's only what the buyer or seller wants.
Yeah. Well, I think there's a lot to take in there for sure. One of the things that I would advise every agent is to take into account repeat and referral business. Mm-hmm. And if you're not watching out for their best interest, you're not getting repeat nor referral business, because they know you were just watching out for your paycheck. So absolutely. Every client that I talk to, at least I try every client, I advise them that I'm going to help you from the perspective as if I was buying this property, if I was selling this property, how I would want to be treated, how I would want to be advised, so that they know that I care more than I care about my paycheck. Right? I don't want to be saddled with a turd house. I don't want to, sell and lose, a bunch of money because my agent needed to make a paycheck. Mm-hmm. Right? So that all makes sense to me, and is wise. I would say that there has been positions of which I was concerned about and I would not do, but my buyer was willing to do it because they had experience, knowledge, resources to do it. So my job was to put them in front of professionals to get good advice and a trusted consultant that knows better than I do about that topic, and give them the pros and the cons and let them make that decision, but make it very clear of, what my thoughts are on it. But so there is a little bit of, our clients are going to make the decision at the end of the day. So I'm not agreeing with that person per se, but I'm definitely saying there's things that I wouldn't do that I can appreciate others might want to. I think
Just as long as they have an informed decision.
right. Yep. Make it very clear. And by the way, in writing.
Yeah. Yes.
CYA is a little bit of an important thing, but so anyway, what I wanted to do today was, for Wisdom Wednesday, is set the stage for what wisdom is, the importance of wisdom. I don't know what'll come after, wisdom or application of wisdom as power, but to me, it kind of seems like that captures, the big stuff. So I would say that's how we engage with our clients. It's the right thing to do for our clients. It's going to set the stage as to why we're different from any other agent that they would want to work with. And it will help you with retention of those clients because they do take you as that trusted consultant that's going to provide, wisdom in the process. So what's your thoughts on that, Mark?
Oh, I agree with you wholeheartedly. Like I say, I think that sometimes it's kind of a fine line on what and how much information or wisdom or whatever we bring across. So it's, sometimes I think it's, in my opinion, is dependent on the client and what they're looking for and how much they really want from you. I agree with Lisa. It's give them the most information or that you can or whatever that's going to give them an informed, be able to make an informed decision. I mean, that's what I feel my job is. Sometimes I wonder, when you show a house, how much of or what you're really needing to do. Do you need to follow them all the way around the house? Do you let them go and look at different things? And then, if they have questions for you, I mean, it's different. I think every client is different. Because I know that sometimes I'd rather just kind of be alone when I walk through and look at a house and don't want to feel like I want to be hounded. And so, I mean, it's just different things or whatever of trying to figure that out and what they, as a client and what they're really looking for is that way too.
Yep. Yeah. Well, I think that touches on another good point is, you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make them drink. Sometimes you'll have a lot of wisdom about a subject and people won't listen to it. They're not, humble. They're not receptive. And you can't necessarily, cram it down their throat, but we can certainly do our best attempt at extending to them the maximum amount of wisdom that we can. So I'm just encouraging that us all to be out in the field, not just spitting knowledge about things we know and puffing up like, oh, see, I know all these things, but the power behind extending to them wisdom about whether they did this or that, what the outcome could potentially be in those situations, but having acquired the ability to do that, right?
And like you say, Jared, each of us can read. I mean, when we get on the MLS, it'll give us all the information that we really need to be able to be informed on what the house is all about, right? And so we can read all that knowledge and stuff like that. But the way I look at it is here's knowledge of what you know, what you read or whatever. It's almost like being a robot. And wisdom is basically having your empathy, like Charlie's talked about before, and putting it into something that they can relate to. You know what I'm saying? Not just spewing out all the knowledge that you know about the house, but actually doing it in a way that they can come out of there with the same amount of knowledge that you have on it, but it's not just where you threw up on them,
Yep.
if that makes sense.
Yep. Yep. Well, we're down to our last bit here, but I would say the last thing that I want to comment on is earn the ability to extend the words of wisdom. We talked about what wisdom is, and earn from your client the trust to give them that wisdom, and treat the whole, kind of discussion, the experience in a manner where they're like, hey, this is a wise individual. I need to listen to them. That's why they're coming to us, right? They want that wisdom. They want to make sure they avoid, issues, problems, things like that. So with that, have a blessed day.
Thanks.